All romaine? Better? No olive?
Louis Segura and his wife opened this restaurant 3 years ago.
People think like, oh, well, you have a business, you're making money. And that's not the case.
Like many entrepreneurs, their dreams were fueled largely by debt.
It's scary, right? We sold our home. We started renting. We had our 4th child. And we were trying to figure out how to juggle it all.
In this town, poverty isn't always visible, but it is here. 20,000 people live in Lindsay, and about half make less than $30,000 a year.
In 2017, the Ontario government chose Lindsay, along with Hamilton and Thunder Bay, as testing grounds for its basic income pilot project.
We want to find out whether a basic income makes a positive difference in people's lives.
A single person was guaranteed a minimum income of nearly $17,000, a couple $24,000. People with a disability received an additional $6,000 per year. If a person worked, the government deducted 50 cents for every dollar earned.
Hi, come up to the 4th floor, please.
Okay, thanks, Dana.
Dana Bowman signed up. She has relied on government support most of her life, like the Ontario Disability Support Program.
I wasn't wanting to say anything to anybody of where my income was coming from. It felt like an embarrassment to me.
As part of the basic income pilot, her monthly income more than doubled to nearly $2,000. She did some small upgrades around her home.
Pillows, blankets, comforters. I'd been secondhand for years.
And hoped to get an education.
I just wanted some self-worth again.
Right on or on this side?
Segura's family made a small income, but they still qualified for about $800 a month.
Growing up, my parents were just like, never, go on welfare, never do this, never do, because it's just seen as bad. And like, you just work hard, you did it. And yeah, of course, you work hard, but there's times that you may need the assistance.
The help was expected to last 3 years, but less than a year in, a new provincial government took power and announced it would cancel the program and instead promised to reform social assistance province-wide.
We're hitting the pause button on a patchwork of programs that were not doing what they were intended to do, which is supporting Ontario's most vulnerable.
Ontario wasn't the only place testing an alternative system. Finland's smaller, more limited basic income trial wrapped up in January.
I think the biggest effect was psychological.
The result, people were happier, but it didn't inspire them to work more. Still, the data gives researchers something to work with.
Here's the basic income application form.
Mike Perry is an advocate for basic income. He fought to bring the pilot to Lindsay. Now he wants to fight the government for canceling it.
It doesn't really matter anymore kind of where you stand on the idea of a basic income as a social policy. Everyone I've talked to across the spectrum agrees you don't just stop your commitment midstream. You don't just throw people under the financial bus. It talks about a 3-year program right on page 4.
Perry says people signed up expecting it would last a full 3 years.
So I had to borrow the judicial robes from a friend of mine here.
He's dusting off his old law degree in hopes of putting together a class action lawsuit.
People were supposed to make changes to their lives with this increased income. I get emails literally every day about people who've made commitments, who are caught out, who moved to a better apartment, one with windows, believe it or not. Better for mental health.
There are some stories of success that will hopefully last. Segura's restaurant has finally made a profit.
I think even like with basic income this year, we probably wouldn't have been eligible anymore. Which is, again, I think is like a success story in itself. Like that's the whole purpose.
Yeah, I'm hoarding. It's officially hoarding.
But for Bowman, school is no longer an option, and she's on the hook for payments on a new couch until October.
Didn't go and pay for the love seat I'm sitting on now in one shot because it was budgeting.
Money for her will be even tighter than before the pilot. One of thousands forced to pick up the financial and emotional pieces left behind by a program that not only injected money into communities, but also hope. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Lindsay, Ontario.